Hello, everyone. I'm back at it again. I'm trying to be at it. Not going to be too long, but yeah, I'm going to do it. Do it. I had started it. Oh, excuse me. I had started it before, but I let it go. So anyway, here the breaking news is out of Georgia. The judge he didn't disqualify Fonnie Willis yet, but he said there was I think he took the counts off that he thought were the weakest, I guess, so they wouldn't be able to lose it on appeal or whatever. But anyway, the case can still go on. Now, whether Fonnie Willis is going to be the prosecutor, I don't know, because they're ripping that lady apart. But I think she should be. I don't think they should disqualify her. Her personal life, yeah, she made a mess up when she did that, but it's not the worst thing. Nobody wants this case because everybody is scared of Donald Trump. So they don't want the case, but they don't, I don't know. They want, I don't know what they want down there in Georgia. I'm going to present it so everybody can see what's going on, and you make a choice of what you want it to be. There's a lot of things we could talk about, but ain't gonna take on that too long. But I don't think the judge is gonna disqualify her. Nobody wants that case. They want to smear that lady, but I believe she couldn't get a conviction, even though she did what she did. And they have people running against her, Democrats and stuff. And I noticed they were all white people. So that kind of tells you something what's going on down there. That she's a black woman. I think she's had too much power and she's too forcible a woman for them to deal with. But they don't want to deal with Donald Trump to get him, to get him mad with them. So they used her, which I don't think was right. But hey, it is what it is. And if she had an affair with him, that was her business. I think this judge, I think he's fair, but I don't know. I don't know how this thing is going to turn out. My personal opinion is she won't be she won't be disqualified because who else is going to do it? And most Republicans they want they want her to they want they want to get rid of Donald Trump, but they want her to do the dirty work. So we'll have to see about that. I was here before earlier. I wasn't feeling that great. I'm still not feeling that great, but hey, it is what it is. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to wait and see if Miss Andrea comes back and whatever, see whatever's going to happen. So much stuff. While we're waiting, I'll go and see what's going on. You know, you know. Yeah. What is a live chat? Here it is. So this is what we're going to do. Going to add this and share this with you, and you listen to this and tell me what you think. I love Nora O'Donnell. I think she'll tell uh, I think she'll tell the truth. You know, I'm hoping she'll tell the truth. Eh, oops. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah. Yeah. Uh.
Fulton County judge today dismissing 6 of the 41 counts against the former president and top allies Rudy Giuliani and Mark Meadows. It's considered a legal setback for prosecutors, but Trump still faces 10 charges that could result in decades in jail. Here's CBS's Nicole Killian.
Fulton County Judge Scott McAfee threw out charges that accuse former President Trump and several of his co-defendants of pressuring public officers to violate their oaths as part of an alleged effort to overturn the 2020 election. McAfee said District Attorney Fani Willis and her prosecutors were not specific enough about the violations, writing, "The lack of detail concerning an essential legal element is fatal." Just 3 of Trump's 13 counts were tossed, including one for his January 2021 phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Trump's legal team applauded the ruling.
It was a step in the right direction. It goes to the sloppiness of, frankly, the prosecutors down there.
Former federal prosecutor Tom Dupree said it was only a partial victory for Trump.
The judge's decision effectively has the result of narrowing the case against Trump and the other defendants. It doesn't eliminate it entirely, though.
It is a lie.
McAfee's ruling comes ahead of a highly anticipated decision this week about whether Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade should be disqualified from the election interference case. Last month, the pair admitted to having a romantic relationship for about a year after Wade was hired, but denied any wrongdoing.
The romantic relationship ended before the indictment was returned, yes or no?
To a man, yes.
The sprawling racketeering case against the former president and his associates remains largely intact. But if Willis is disqualified, another attorney could be assigned to the case, which could significantly impact the proceedings. Nora?
And potentially delay them. Nicole Killian, thank you so much.
At the free Master Mentors live event, you'll discover why the cannabis industry is one of the fastest growing business sectors in America today.
Well. Everybody hears it, you know. Everybody hears it. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. We'll see what's going to happen with this.
Some major news for former President Trump in one of the key election interference cases against him. A Fulton County, Georgia judge is dismissing 6 counts in the election interference case there. In an order released today, that judge saying that the state failed to find sufficient details for 6 counts of solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. This ruling stems from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis accusing Trump and 6 of his co-defendants of illegally trying to persuade numerous state officials to violate their oaths in an effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. So we're joined now by Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. So what do you make of the dismissal? These aren't the only charges here, obviously.
He has a ton of charges still. I mean, and this is, if you're at home watching, I'll take you to law school as quick as I can, right? First blush, you're like, wow, this is a major win for former President Trump. but not exactly. If you read the order, what he says is that they list all of the elements. And so for the folks that aren't attorneys, elements are what's required to have a charge. You must, the apple must be red, it must be round. If it's red and it's round, okay, it checks a box to be an apple. That's about as basic as what elements are when you're talking about crimes. What the judge says is, yes, you guys have listed the elements and you show that there are elements that he has checked. But what you have not done is listed to specificity how he has broken the charges. And so then you're like, wow, well, there's no case there. But if you read further, he says that not only did they fail to be specific, they have an overabundance of evidence. So they didn't go through the weeds and say exactly what they are alleging. So he says they could have broken a number of laws based on what you guys are alleging. Get specific and give me an opportunity to know exactly what you're saying. So not really a win, just somebody didn't do their job in terms of submitting this. Now, the grand jury found the charges were there, but just go back and figure out how to do it right. That's what the judge is saying.
And the prosecutors here can also file these charges again, right?
And that's the win that I think for me, yes, he gave them time to go back and file it again. And so remember, he's already said in 2 weeks, which we're at that time frame now, I'll make a decision if I'm going to remove DA Willis in her office and dismiss these charges. That's what he said. Well, why would I give you time to refile these 6 charges if I plan on dismissing the entire case? And so that's, I think, what was the hidden message in today's order, which is I think that he's not going to dismiss DA Willis, and I think that he will not dismiss this case, because why would he do that if he's going to ultimately say, oh, yeah, you can refile this one if I'm going to remove her anyway? So I think that, yeah, while folks may feel like the president won today, I think next week or whenever he makes his decision, they will get some bad news that this DA stand on the case.
Well, and again, so this case is far from over, but what do you think this means for the election coming up? Because we know that Trump is the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. Does this have any impact on that?
I mean, he's the nominee now. I mean, he's got the numbers. Him and President Biden are there. And so I don't think this has any impact on his base. The impact it will have on the folks that are kind of in the middle, like the unaffiliated in North Carolina, in states that really haven't made a decision. He may have a extra boost on the folks that are saying are uncommitted to President Biden. So for those folks, I think it will have an impact on him, and folks are watching, patiently to see how these cases turn out. But for his base, those folks in the MAGA base that are supported with him the whole time, they don't care what happens with these cases. They feel like any additional case is another boost to his presidency. It makes him more electable in their eyes.
All right. Well, this isn't the only case that Trump is dealing with. So, of course, we're going to keep an eye on what judges say in those cases as well. Khalif, thank you.
Well, as you can see, he ain't out of trouble.
Some major news.
He ain't out of trouble. So, yeah, he ain't out of trouble. He is not out of trouble. He had six counts dismissed, but he still has 31. My personal opinion, I believe the judge is taking the weakest parts out, so they won't be able to. They won't lose on appeal because they have a strong case against Donald Trump. But we shall see. We shall see what's really going to happen with this case. I've been paying special attention to it. I myself to believe that they're not going to disqualify her from the case. He's just making it hard, and I think she will. I think when he goes to court, if she does it right, I think she's going to win a case against him. But will it be before the presidential election? No. Do I think he's going to win the presidential election? No, I don't think so. Because he's making a mess out of everything. The Republicans are going after Hunter Biden. Katie Britt gave that spooky Republican response to the State of the Union address, and geez, I don't know. Now Donald Trump is rough riding over the Republican National Committee, the RNC. So he's just taking the party over, and the real Democrats, don't like it. So I think they're going to let her bring all these charges up. The key for us is to get Donald Trump out of the White House. Do not let him back in the White House. That's the key. I'll be honest. I think Joe Biden has earned his arrest. And but I think his programs are good. And I saw where it was Ben Shapiro, a trust fund baby, says that people should not be allowed to retire early. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, he ain't never worked a day that ever since I've known about him. All I see him do is sit up there and talk stupid stuff. And he thinks I should work until I drop dead. He doesn't think people should retire. They want to do away with Social Security. They want to do away with the labor laws. They want to do away from everything. Democracy depends on everybody going out here to vote. It's not about who's older, because Donald Trump ain't that much younger than Joe Biden. And Donald Trump goes on some wild rants that don't make no sense, that are not coherent. He makes comments like that. But anyway, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you, but this is going to be an interesting election. I'm going to follow it. We all know that if Donald Trump doesn't win, it's going to be a stolen election. And I saw something, which I'm not going to try to look up. Maybe I'll do it the next time, where it was, I don't know the guy's name, but he has a station called Valuetainment. And on the panel was Candace Owens, this guy, the one with for Valuetainment, and Chris Cuomo. They want voter ID for people to vote. Well, when you're registered, you have to show your ID to be registered. You can't register unless you have ID, birth certificate, and prove that you're a United States citizen. Once they do that, they register you. So why should I have to show an ID? Because if the ID is expired, they will tell you you can't vote. And I don't know. I see it, and other people see it as a ploy against people. So it's another form of intimidation. Why should I? I've registered to vote. I've been a registered voter since I was 21 years old. I've been voting every presidential election since I've been 21. So, I don't know what it is, but so much stuff is going on in our country now. It's really crazy how things are going. So we shall see. We should see how that goes out. And in 1938, there was a ball player who was being interviewed. And when he was being interviewed, they asked him, what did he do in his off season? He said he put in an application to be a cop so he can beat some N-words over the head. And it was 1938, and people went against him, and it was 10 years longer for what was I going to say, for the basketball became integrated, before Jackie Robinson integrated the National Baseball League. That was an interesting thing. It was the precursor to that, and it took them 10 years to do it, but that's when they started the plan to integrate Major League Baseball. That's an interesting thing. So, yeah, so all of that thing, those were things I was going to talk about. Like I said, I'm not feeling the best. So I was wondering if anybody was going to come up. My friend Andrea came up, but I'm going to take it easy tonight for the rest of the night, I guess. I'll put something together for maybe tomorrow afternoon or something. But I just had to say that in case nobody saw it. But I don't think the case is lost with Donald Trump. I think Fani Willis will still be the prosecutor. I think Nathan Wade will be the special prosecutor. But they're going to really, really have to be on the ball, cross every dot, cross every T and dot every I, as my grandmother would say, because they're going to be looking at her with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to present the evidence, and it'll be up to a jury in Fulton County, Georgia, which I believe they will find Donald Trump guilty. And naturally, he's going to say that the election was stolen from him. So, wow. It's going to be a crazy election. Two old men fighting. They're like two old hens pecking on each other. But it comes down to who's the lesser of the two evil, because they're both old. And if I have to choose someone who's old, and as they call him, Sleepy Joe and stuff, I'll choose Joe Biden over Donald Trump any day. Joe Biden has done a lot for the economy. I'll admit that if inflation is still very high. Food prices are high. The cost of living is high and wages are low. But at least he's working on it. Joe Biden is trying to get everything right. So we'll have to see what's going on with that. But I do believe Fani Willis will not be disqualified. And she will still prosecute the case, and I believe she will win the case. Because whether people know it or not, there are people in the Republican Party who are not MAGA. And the MAGA party is not as strong as they would like for you to believe. He may get 30% of the vote, but if Joe Biden can get 60, it's going to be a close race. I believe it's going to be a close race. And I don't know. And I don't think they'll try another January 6th, because I think the government's going to be ready for them this time. So we shall see. We shall see all of it, what's going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to say good night, goodbye, because it doesn't seem like anybody's going to come up, because they probably all think I left, because like I told you, Andrea came up. Miss Andrea came up. And yeah, feeling lousy. So I'm going to sit back and relax. And it's one more stream I'd like to show you. Drunk Jay Troubles Jam. Here it is. So yeah, let's hear this. Well. Okay, so let's see. What the heck? Ugh.
Like the differences here between Trump and determined to make fools of themselves. Republicans in the House of Representatives staged Biden crimes and Biden memory hearings with Special Prosecutor Robert Hur, and they backfired completely. I came away from these hearings more convinced than ever that Joe Biden has done nothing wrong and that cognitively he seems fine. Now, I want to remind everybody that Robert Hur is the special counsel who, in conjunction with the decision not to charge Joe Biden related to the classified document stuff that he was involved in, made some incredible judgments about how Joe Biden is an elderly guy whose memory is failing, and made all sorts of other judgments that would be better relegated to doctors, neurologists, and others. So he was brought before a panel yesterday and made a number of different elements of testimony, and it did not go well. It did not go well. Here is a friend of the show, Congressman Ted Lieu, a Democrat, asking Robert Hur a series of yes or no questions, and they really highlight the differences here between Trump and Biden with regard.
I'm something of a magician, inventor, and chocolate maker.
Oh, what did this say?
To the facts.
Say that the House Judiciary Committee is responsible for helping to enforce the rule of law. Unfortunately, the actions of this chairman in ignoring a bipartisan congressional subpoena have damaged the ability of this committee to get information from witnesses and damage the rule of law. Now, Mr. Hur, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your compelling immigrant story that just goes to highlight how America is a nation of immigrants. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, yes and no questions. They're not trick questions. They're simply designed to highlight what you already found in your report, which is that there are, quote, material distinctions, end quote, between President Biden's case and Mr. Trump's case. So here's my first question. In your investigation, did you find that President Biden directed his lawyer to lie to the FBI?
We identified no such evidence.
Did you find that President Biden directed his lawyer to destroy classified documents?
No.
Did you find that President Biden directed his personal assistant to move boxes of documents to hide them from the FBI?
Now, in case folks don't know the whole point of this, Trump did all of the things that Ted Lieu is asking about. If this is obvious, I apologize. I just want to make sure everybody has the information. The contrast here is Biden did none of the things that Ted Lieu is asking about, but Trump did do them.
Did you find that President Biden directed his personal assistant to delete security camera footage after the FBI asked for that footage?
No.
Did you find that President Biden showed a classified map related to an ongoing military operation to a campaign aide who did not have clearance?
No.
Did you find that President Biden engaged in a conspiracy to obstruct justice?
No.
Did you find that President Biden engaged in a scheme to conceal?
No.
Each of the activities I just laid out describe what Donald Trump did in his willful mishandling of classified information and his criminal efforts to deceive the FBI. In contrast, President Biden handed over documents without delay and complied fully with investigators.
This was very, very smart piece of questioning from Ted Lieu. And I do want to remind folks that a number of specific untruths have come forward from this investigation. Hur was given a chance to correct the record about what he said regarding Joe Biden's memory. There was a claim
Yeah,
made
Danny
that
out there,
Biden
wanna
didn't
come up?
even remember the date of his son Beau Biden's death. And her claims that Biden didn't remember it, except we now have the transcript. And in the transcript, Biden does remember the date. Her is given the opportunity to correct the record. He just doesn't want to correct it.
And I want to give you a chance, since the transcript is out, to correct the record on an important point. Very sadly, your report on page 208 says that Mr. Biden couldn't come up with the date, the year of his son Beau Biden's death, when in fact in the transcript it shows that you asked him the month. And do you know what he said, Mr. Herr? He said, "Oh God, May 30th. Would you like to correct the record? His memory was pretty firm on the month and the day."
Congresswoman, I don't believe that's correct with respect to the transcript, but if you could refer me to a specific page, I'd be happy to look.
And my second document, to clarify for you, sir, Mr. Herr, from the transcription, page 82, the words are President Biden's. "What month did Beau die? Oh God, May 30th. A searing memory. I ask unanimous consent."
Without objection.
It is disgraceful that when confronted with his error, Biden didn't even remember the date of his son's death. It's in the transcript. Herr is confronted with it, and he refuses to admit it and correct the record, which he should have done. Congresswoman Escobar, in this next clip, again walks her through the differences between the Joe Biden classified document situation and the Trump situation, and it is just as telling and compelling.
Special Counsel Smith has alleged that Trump willfully and knowingly took highly classified documents to a location accessible by tens of thousands of people. Mr. Herr, was President Biden's residence accessible to tens of thousands of people?
No,
Did President Biden ever bring tens of thousands of people into spaces where he stored classified material?
not to my knowledge.
Did Joe Biden advertise and sell memberships to his home that would allow members of the public to have access?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did your investigation find that Joe Biden ever hosted movie premieres at his home? Classified documents were stored there.
No.
Moving on, among the 150 staff members working at Mar-a-Lago was a Trump aide named Walt Nauta. According to Special Counsel Smith, Trump ordered Nauta to move boxes of documents so that they could not be found by people looking for them. Mr. Herr, did President Biden ever direct his to move documents so that you or the FBI could not find them?
We did not identify evidence of that.
In fact, according to your report, as soon as Bob Bauer discovered material in President Biden's residence, he contacted John Lausch, and the president immediately consented to an FBI search of his home. Is that correct?
My report does state that.
So you get the picture here. No shortage of nonsense from Republicans. Here is Harriet Hageman bringing up Hillary's emails. I know it's been a decade. She brought up Hillary's emails. What can I say? They're obsessed.
Those people without the last name of Clinton or Biden are typically treated quite differently and seem to be the only ones who are never held accountable for violating the law.
Congresswoman, one of the things that I explain in my report is the fact that there are historical precedents with respect to former occupants of the White House and their retention of classified materials after they leave.
I'm asking specifically about Mrs. Clinton and Mrs. Hillary Clinton. And
Hillary Clinton. Anyway, these people are not serious at all. Here is another funny moment where Congresswoman Dean actually has her read the part of his own report where he does mention Donald Trump, and it's not so good. It's pretty humiliating.
That was not the case with Donald Trump. You have a copy of your report today, don't you, in front of you?
I do.
Read a portion of it for me. Your words, it is page 11, starting on line 3, beginning with the words, "Unlike the evidence involving Mr. Biden." Would you read the next few sentences?
Unlike the evidence involving Mr. Biden, the allegations set forth in the indictment of Mr. Trump, if proven, would present serious aggravating facts.
Keep going.
Congresswoman, I'm happy to have you read the words in my report.
Well, it's your report, so I think it actually is more fitting that you read those.
Most notably, after being given multiple chances return classified documents and avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite.
Keep going.
According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents for many months, but he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it.
So even in his own report, he admits that what Trump did is on a completely different scale. And then lastly, our friend Congressman Eric Swalwell actually pointing out the hypocrisy, or the, I guess we would call it conflict, between a transcript in which Hur admits that Biden's memory is great versus his summary in which Hur says he didn't remember a damn thing.
I now want to turn you to the transcript and day 1, page 47. You said to President Biden, you appear to have a photographic understanding and recall of the House. Did you say that to President Biden?
Those words do appear on page 47 of the transcript.
Photographic is what you said. Is that right?
That word does appear on page 47 of the transcript.
It does, doesn't it?
Never appeared in your report, though. Is that correct? The word photographic?
That does not appear in my report.
I now want.
There you go. So listen, it should be over. The only reason I hesitate to say it's over is because they don't care. Their witnesses on Biden crimes fell apart. The smoking gun about Biden's memory is directly contradicted by the transcript in multiple ways. It should be over, but these people aren't influenced by reality, so it may not be over. I want to get to one other kind of funny element of yesterday's hearings. One of our sponsors today is Manscaped, your destination for male grooming. Manscaped's new Lawnmower 5.0 trimmer is your key to looking and feeling good all over. It's equipped with 2 skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever you want. And it's waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. For guys who want the full grooming experience, go for Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0, which comes with lawnmower trimmer, but also the ear and nose trimmer, and some essential aftercare products like the Crop Soother Aftershave Lotion and Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Deodorizer, plus 2 free gifts, Manscaped's Boxers 2.0 and the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag. Manscaped is trusted by over 10 million men worldwide, including me. There are only a couple of products like this on the market. Manscaped is the one you want to go with, whether you're shopping for yourself or a guy in your life. Go to manscaped.com and use the code PACMAN for 20% off and free shipping. The link is down below.